Dr. Garge, I know this is not a, you're attributing the loss of students going to the outlying communities to brick and mortar. Is it a brick and mortar problem that we're dealing with, or is it an educational problem? And have we thought about thinking outside the box and creating schools and neighborhoods for vocational training versus the old traditional, what we want every kid in town to have the same type of application?
I will tell you from an education perspective, our schools are performing at higher levels than they ever have before in the history of LISD. And I'm pleased about that. We have more recognized exemplary schools than ever before. We have no schools that are unacceptable due to academic achievement, which has not happened in many, many years in the school district. Now, we do have some specialized programs, which is what you're talking about. We have the Byron Martin ATC Center, which attracts a lot of students. We have some of the swimming programs, the IB program. Many of those things, many of those programs are why families still go here. In fact, people think that everyone's leaving LISD. We actually have a lot of transfers in, a lot of transfers out. Where we gain by 1,600 students on an annual basis that transfer into our school system. But the point that this gentleman was making, and certainly I think something that we're all concerned about, is there is a shifting demographic of families that are choosing to live in Wolford or Lubbock Cooper or some other community. And I think we all should be concerned about that, and I understand that sentiment. But people do shop schools now, and they do look at our facilities and make determinations about where they're going to purchase a home, where they're going to live, based upon what they see as an offering for their children. And it is a new phenomenon in public schools today.
Let me kind of give a quick commentary on, I mentioned Angelo State University, and John was actually in that meeting with me. They did a survey on incoming freshmen as to how they get their information, what influences their thought patterns, where they're building their academia. There you go. 50s family church school was top 5. It lasted till about the 70s, and then it kind of started shifting where church fell down, families kind of at the top, school still somewhere in the middle. By 1980 and forward, it started changing. And if anybody want to raise their hand and tell me what it changed to, but 2000, if you ask an incoming freshman where they get their influence, their peer groups, what they learn from, who their mentors are, it's media. It's computer, internet, Facebook, Twitter. Family, church, and school fell down below. It's not even in the top 10. So that's a real, what I've heard tonight, what I heard in that meeting was families broken down. What we used to rely on, what we grew up with, we don't have family people that encourage us to get up and go do the right thing every day. And as much as I disdain having to do some of the things that they've talked about, it's kind of like I tell people, it's the rule of the day. We may not like it, but we got to get it back, and maybe this is a start to kind of move towards that. Now, how we do it and what we do is up to you, the voter. But I will tell you, we have an education system that's in crisis. And it concerns me, and even they, in Angelo State, admitted, it's not what we like to tell you, but it's the facts. And the facts are, kids learn different. Kids get their information differently. Kids get their information from people they shouldn't be getting their information because they're void. But if the school district can come back around with the right mechanics and the right protocol and the right techniques to gain that kid's mind and pull them back in, maybe family, church, and school moves back up the ladder. But right now, our youth gets their education from other youth. Think about it. Think about the friends you used to run with. Do you want them to be your mentors? I don't. Most of them wear orange suits with county across the back of them. Truthfully, there's some of that going on. And I got to tell you that it's a vision, it's a bold vision, and it's got things in it. But as a community, we need to kind of step up and step out in the sense that it's different than when we grew up. How we get there and how we get it fixed. But I think that was important for John and I to hear. We walked away from that meeting, and what this meeting was about, which was more encouraging, Angelo State is reteaching teachers how to teach, and the new teachers coming in are learning how to teach to this video age, this game-playing society that we've got. And it's because what we're doing in textbooks aren't making it work anymore. They're having to come out and creatively gain those kids' attentions and minds. But I thought I'd offer that because I think it's part of your technology. I think it's part of your
technology is so important.
And so that's where I think it's important to understand it's a new game. And as much as we don't like it, it's the game. It's the way it works. So that's
I have just one more thing. I know LISD needs a lot of money. I've been in a lot of schools, OL, had kids in there are definite needs. I'm so afraid though that this package is so aggressive and so much, we're gonna lose it and forget the needs that really are there. Is there a possibility that maybe we could offer just a little bit less if the voters will support it? I'm not so sure we'll support 198 million all in one bond package in the economic season that we're in. And there are schools that desperately need some money. And do we want to jeopardize losing it for everyone over one huge package?
We did a lot of research on that. We did a lot of polling on that very issue. Is there a dollar tolerance to the bond? And we actually had proposed earlier for the committee a larger dollar amount. The data showed us that it would not be supported. We backed it down to a level the data showed through the survey would be supported and would be passed. We didn't want to put 8 or 9 months of work into a bond that wasn't going to pass. We show that if we get out and educate people like we're doing today, and we address the issues and address the questions, we have a very high probability of passing it at 198 million.
Some of the deals that I've heard were whenever they put all these figures together, the unemployment rate wasn't 10% rising. So do you think that's going to influence?
Well, and I'd like to ask that too. One of the things we did as well is we looked at, and all the data that we put together was put together in the last month. We came down to our final conclusion and did our polling the last 2 weeks. We looked at the economic impact of what 198 million does in this community from the builders that we hire to build the schools and do the renovations and to buy the equipment from, and the people we put to work. And we asked Mark Lubbock to do analysis for us to see how many times, what type of impact the $198 million has to this community. And I think it came back at, yeah, 465 was the dollar amount impact. So it more than doubles, and I think that was what they termed a very conservative estimate. Typically in business, when you see these types of projects, that multiplier is higher. It's more than double, it's more than triple. And so I think that's a big economic impact to addressing the employment issue.
You already have an economic impact that we're paying in taxes now. It will be 465 on top of $7.
Which is a good thing. We're putting that dollar back in the community. We're giving people jobs, spending money in local suppliers.
When you're taking money out to put it over here, it's still money. Right?
With the multiplier, I'm speaking of the multiplier effect, basically.
Yeah. So you pay back 550 million, and you've got 300 million.
In our community versus anyone elsewhere, I think is what.
So you're going to have this community? So you're only going to use companies in Lubbock? No, I didn't say that.
We did put, yeah, you did. You said you're going to go back into Lubbock.
I said it.
That's what you said.
I never said anything.
Let me wrap this up. I know that there's a lot